Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our InvestHorizon Pitching eForum, the third edition of this wonderful pitching forum. My name is Denica Deneva, and together with my colleague Victoria, we are here representatives from Tech Tour. We're going to be your hosts and also your moderators of this afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time for joining us this lovely afternoon. And before we start, I would like to inform you or to give you a hint what exactly is InvestHorizon. InvestHorizon is an accelerator program that we from Tech Tour are coordinating together with other 6 partners that you can see here on the slide. These are BPI France, EURA, ESE Business School, BWCon, Meta Group, and EBN, the European Business Network. This overall accelerator started in 2019 and is actually finishing in December 2021. And actually the whole program and the whole project is financed by the European Commission in association with Eureka. Our goal for the accelerator was to support 500 startups from all around Europe and associated Eureka countries, and we are very close to achieving this goal. Here, for the session, we have selected 5 of the companies from the InvestHorizon that we're going to see pitching just a little bit later today. A couple of housekeeping rules, what to expect during this session. We're going to record the meeting, so please feel free to indicate into the chat if you do not want to be recorded. We'll make sure to pause the meeting recording so we can comply with all GDPR rules. I would like to invite you to rename yourself. If you prefer to do so, it will be easier to see who is in the room with your name, surname, and the company you're representing. Of course, for the better quality of the call, please stay muted unless you're invited to speak. And of course, use the chat functionality. Whatever you would have a question, please use the chat. We'll make sure to answer it, me or Victoria. And I would like to invite also the jury members later on to use the chat, also asking their questions or indicating that they have one. So we have the order. What we have planned for you today, this is the program overview, I will say. We are just having the opening and the welcome notes. We'll continue with introductions from the investor audience in the room. We'll give about 30 seconds to each of the investors to shortly introduce themselves. After that, we'll move forward with the digital health, software, imaging, AI, and 3D technology pitching. As I mentioned, we have 5 companies. Each of them will have 5 minutes to pitch and followed by 4 minutes of Q&A from the audience. During this session, we're going to collect evaluations from the investors and jury members in the room. The reason behind is fully anonymous feedback that we are collecting for the sake of the companies. We're going to share their scores with them fully anonymously again, so they can improve, they can see where are the areas they need to work on. Okay, this is more or less from my side. Without further ado, I would like to share also the slide with our jury members and to start inviting them, giving them the floor to introduce themselves. We have here a slide with an alphabetical order of their names, and some of them will join maybe during the session. So I will just start with the ones that are already with us. And I can see that Bernardo from Investire is with us. Hi, Bernardo, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi Denica, and thank you very much for opening up the session. My name is, so as mentioned, my name is Bernardo. I'm an investment associate with Ver Ventures. Now we have rebranded, so I think it is still not updated. Currently calling out of Cambridge, UK, but Ver Ventures is an early stage VC company headquartered in Zurich, but also with offices in Berlin, Paris, and Lausanne. And yeah, we invest in early stage tech startups across Europe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bernardo, for the intro. I can see that Oender is with us also today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. So name is Oender with Swiss Post Ventures, we invest into any business which has to do either with our current business or a potential future business. So supply chain, logistics, digital commerce, digital communication, meaning also digital health and e-government service. So looking forward to the pitches of the startups. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the intro. I can see that Roop is with us also today. Hello, Roop. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Roop Chandwani. Mazars is an executive search firm in the life sciences and health technology, and we help companies scale for growth. I'm also a private investor in my own right, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about these exciting ventures. Thank you.
Thank you, Roop. Royal, would you like to go next?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I'm Roel Dekkers. I work at NextGen Ventures. We're a Dutch investment company focused on early stage medtech and health IT companies. So this is seed stage and Series A, and the companies need to be housed in the Netherlands. And looking forward to the session today.
Thank you so much. I would like to give now the word to Petri Laine. Hello, Petri. Great to see you.
Hello, Denitsa. Great to be with you. Petri Laine, Investor Ventures, Helsinki-based investor, investing through 3 funds in all fields of technologies in the Nordics and Baltics. Health and life science-related companies are roughly 1/3 of our portfolio. Long-term friend of Tech Tour, happy to be with you.
Thank you, Petri, for joining us. I would like to invite for an introduction, Gabriela.
Yes, hello, Denitsa, and good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Gabriela Letha. I represent Villa Finance. So we're a multifamily office based in Switzerland, Zurich, and we do investments in digital technology and life science. And within life science, we look at digital health, medtech, and pharma. Our sweet spot is Series A and Series B, and our ticket size is ranges usually between 200,000 to 10 million. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gabriela. I will give the floor now to Ferran. Good afternoon, Ferran.
Yes, hello everyone. So I'm the associate with Nina Capital. Nina Capital is a venture capital firm based in Barcelona, Spain. We invest at the intersection of healthcare and IT, information technology, and we do so without geographical constraints. So we have invested all across Western Europe, USA, and Canada. And our sweet spot is the seed stage. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ferran. I go over to Maite. Maite, good afternoon.
Hi, everyone. I'm an associate at Asavis. Asavis is a venture capital firm based in Barcelona, Spain. We have a 90 million euro fund, and we invest across healthcare, specifically in biotech, medtech, and digital therapeutics. We have a focus in therapies, and our ticket size are mainly from 3 to 6 million euros per company. We do have a major geographic focus too in Europe, and we're stage agnostic, really. So pleasure being here.
Thank you, Maite. I would like to invite for an intro also Joan.
Hello, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Joan Mercadal. I'm partner in Bragada Capital. It's a new European venture capital fund based in Barcelona. We are focused in Spain mainly and in full Europe also. And we are investing, looking for solutions to unmet needs in healthcare through health tech and biopharmas. We are looking for projects in early stage and Series A. And our ticket size are initially to 200, 500, up to 4 million per company. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan, for the intro. I go over to Joseph.
Hi, Joseph McAnder here, based in Singapore. I run a seed stage health tech fund called Verge Health Tech. We invest, well, seed is a very subjective state these days. So we're the first or second money into a company usually. We invest $250,000 to $500,000 usually, and we'll invest in any technology that really helps address unmet needs especially in emerging market healthcare systems. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Joseph. I would like to invite for intro Alexander.
Hello, I'm Alexander Mokrzycki from Poland, from Warsaw-based fund, which Starfinder. We have two investment vehicles. One of which invests on very early stage, deep tech startups. Another one invests on Series A all around Europe, and we invest also in medtech, and we invest in digital solutions. Everything which is deep tech and have relations with technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander, for the intro. I would like to invite also Kusta.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm Kusta Piha from FSMed Helsinki, Finland. I have a background as a medical doctor, and I'm also a serial entrepreneur, mostly in the healthcare services field, and founding and running companies from 0 to 100 million in revenues phases. So I try to use my experience as an entrepreneur both to help companies and also to evaluate them. And I run family office now and focus in medtech and digital health, and from late C to early A series mainly. Thank you.
Thank you, Kusta. And last but not least in our slide is Leisa. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Lisa Salud. I'm the general partner of R3I Ventures. We run a cross-border deep tech and medtech fund between Singapore, Luxembourg, and Silicon Valley. And we run the House of Medtech and House of Deep Tech, where we have cross-border landing programs in collaboration with the Australian and Canadian government between Singapore and Luxembourg. We're really focused on investing pre-Series A to Series A, but generally meet our founders in the lab and curate them through to Series A. We are venture builders, so we're very active, hands-on investors, and really excited to see the program here tonight. Thank you, Denitsa.
Thank you so much for the intro. Thank you, everyone. I hope I didn't miss anybody. In case I did, please unmute yourself and give us the short intro. Otherwise, we can move forward to the pitching. And again, to remind you that my colleague has just pasted a link into the chat where you can find the evaluation form of this afternoon. Without further ado, let's move to the pitching part. We're having 5 companies and we are going to start with César. I will stop sharing my screen and invite him to share his. César, whenever you're ready, you are going to have 5 minutes to pitch, followed, of course, by 4 minutes of Q&A from our experts. We can see your screen.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, wonderful.
Okay, let's do it then. Okay. Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure to present you our company and our revolutionary first product, the D3D Micro, the first plenoptic eyepiece to transform any microscope into a 3D and 4D microscope. Microscopes are one of the most important tools for industrial and scientific applications. However, in a single shot, they just produce 2D images of 3D samples. This problem is solved so far by scanning the sample using expensive and complex techniques. Based on how nature works, we have developed a camera device that registers in a single shot and real-time different perspectives, capturing both depth and angular information to get a 3D image. Without any complexity, our device can be used in any commercial microscope to get real-time 3D information of the sample. That means true 4D imaging. The device is connected to a computer and the software visualizes and analyzes the 3D information. It is as simple as the normal procedure with the microscope. Here you can appreciate some 3D images obtained with D3D Micro device. In the first row, some industrial examples, and in the second row, life sciences examples. Due to the potential of our technology, its versatility could be applied apart from routine microscopes to surgical microscopes, ophthalmoscopes, endoscopes, telescopes, and its high performance. We are applying our patent in USA, Europe, China, Japan, India, and Korea. DOIT was founded 3 years ago. It's a spin-off company from the University of Valencia, and it's invested by Beable, a highly specialized venture capital in deep tech and technology transfer. Currently, the company is focused on the product market fit stage, working with partners and customers to validate the MVP in different applications. Let me introduce you our team. Angel is co-founder and CTO, has more than 12-year project management experience. Nico is a light field and image processing expert. Monica is an artificial vision and multispectral imaging expert. Yule is a physicist and specialized in innovative companies. And I have more than 14-year experience in business development, most of it in optical companies. Our board is formed by 2 reputed experts in light field microscopy and a member of Beable. The opportunity for our product is huge. We estimate that users that bought their microscopes in the last 10 years are willing to invest in accessories to upgrade their capabilities of their current microscope. Therefore, that install base is our blue ocean market. Its value is euro 2.5 billion and grows around 100,000 units every year. Considering the performance of our technology, we do a conservative market sizing. The potential serviceable obtainable market with further investment rounds to scale up is 100,000 units, just a 10% of the total microscope install base. That means euro 800 million in accumulated non-recurring revenue selling hardware and euro 30 million in annual recurring revenue selling software to half of the customers. However, with this pre-series A round we are presenting, if the business plan is fulfilled, the forecast of the company by 2025, selling around 1,500,000 units, will be 5.4 million. We have identified some application needs to focus on. Just to mention a few, we are working with current customers that bought our minimum viable product, like Swedish University of Agricultural Science for plant biology, or the George Washington University for particle tracking and microfluidics. Also with potential customers like Teidisa for PCB inspection, and potential partners like Olympus for materials quality control and inspection. Our model is to sell our products through microscope manufacturers as ODM or licensing the technology. We are working with Leica and locally with Olympus Iberia. Also, we sell our own branded products through distributors. We have closed an agreement with Ainst for Southeast Asia. They are located in Singapore and working together with Welfen for the Iberian market. Simplifying a complex competitive landscape as microscopy, we can show that there's no any affordable and easy to use solution with high 4D performance and satisfactory resolution as DOIT. Therefore, our unique selling proposition is really clear. We are real-time 3D imaging, we are affordable and handy, versatile and plug and play, universal, and we provide enhanced 2D for 3D and 4D solution. These are some of the key milestones that will be fulfilled thanks to the investment round. Break-even will arrive by the first quarter of 2023. So far, we have raised more than euro 1 million. The use of the required investment is mainly for new employees, such as Chief Operation Officer, Business Development Managers, Computer Engineers, and Physicists. Also, marketing efforts and expenditure must be important to deliver the expected sales to reach break-even around 100 units per year. Thank you so much for your attention, and let's do it 3D.
Thank you so much for the presentation, César. I can see that Joseph has a question already in the chat. Joseph?
Yeah, thank you. Cool stuff. I mean, very few people realize that the eyepiece is kind of a universal socket amongst microscopes. It's not well known. So cool stuff on this. I'm curious what your unit price is. Your implied numbers mean it's 8,000 euros, and wondering what the margin on that looks like versus your bill of materials, and also where are you guys actually in terms of your development? Okay. I mean, like proof of concept and MVP mean very different things to very different people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, those. Thanks for the questions. Those couple of questions are relevant. What I have put is, as you mentioned, 8,000 euros for the pricing, but that's the distributor pricing. So I am not considering any direct sales in that pricing. The retail price or the end user price for the device is it's below 13,000 euros. And regarding the development of the device, we have a minimum viable product, meaning that we have a couple of customers that already bought the device. If by the end of this year, we are going to make some small changes for for having a smoother production of the device and introducing more options for the user to change camera sensors, or even to change some lenses to improve capabilities. But the devices, it's really very close to a final commercial version. So customers are already buying it and considering it.
Oh, that's fantastic. You should probably show a photo of that in the deck if you haven't, because it all looks like 3D renders. Oh, so that's actually it.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, that's
good.
The product,
Good photography. I thought it was CGI. Okay.
No, it's
awesome.
It's a photo. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you, gentlemen. I can see a hand risen by Wender. Would you like to go next? And then I go with the next in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, César, and very interesting. So you're saying it's a blue ocean opportunity, and you're saying that it's for clinical, biological, and industrial applications. Understood that. However, are you not thinking of focusing on a specific segment first and then to expand that? Can you a little bit elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, because there was a lot of information, what we are doing right now, it's focusing on this, we have targeted this niche, this application niche that we are developing right now with customers, potential customers, and also partners. So that blue ocean market that I've mentioned, it's considering all the microscopes, the installed base, because we are not just measuring each year market, but the last 10-year installed base, microscope installed base. So that's why we mentioned that it's a blue ocean market. Those are routine microscopes. And we are not considering in that size in that market, we are not considering any other developments like for surgical microscopes or for other clinical applications like ophthalmoscopes, telescopes, etc. We are just sizing the routine microscope market, and this potential market of 10 years ago microscopes, and each year then that install base is growing 100,000 units per year. So well, that's a pretty good number.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Petri, would you like to go next?
I think my question was already answered by César.
Okay, he said a couple or plenty, indeed.
Exactly.
Thank you. Bernardo, then your question.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the pitch, César. So yeah, so it's a simple question. So is there like a trade-off with resolution when you add this, or like
yes.
what are kind of like the loss in resolution, and it's also compatible with like confocal, or is it really like limited to the light microscopy?
Okay, thanks for the questions. Also relevant. Yes, there's a trade-off in terms of lateral resolution. That's why I try to simplify this slide in terms of competitive landscape, meaning that we are improving other light field systems like Radiobotics light field systems in terms of lateral resolution, but we cannot compete with 2D focal stacking in terms of lateral resolution or confocal systems. That's why they are much more complex and much more expensive. The thing is, we can achieve, we are going to be able to achieve even below 1 micron in future developments. But so far, we can have 1 micron lateral resolution that covers plenty of applications in microscopy. And regarding the confocal, in the future, one of the planned developments of the company, it's combining with artificial intelligence, with deep learning, combining the images from confocal with our images. So it's one of the paths of research that we will follow in the future. So we will improve until reaching super resolution. And getting the importance of this is that we are getting real-time imaging, and that's why we are positioned here in the top right corner.
Right, thanks. So it's basically you're also replacing like basically the need for confocal for labs that don't want to have 3D resolution but can't afford a confocal or don't want to. You're making it accessible to the light field microscope. Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again, César, for the presentation.
Thank you, Denitza, for the opportunity.
Thank you. We can move to the next presenter then. And I would like then to share my screen one more time to show you the other people that we are looking forward to hear. And Stine, we would like to invite you next. I stop sharing and it's your floor.
Yep. Said I didn't have the rights to share, but now I have. So here we are. Guess you see my screen, everybody. So let's do it. So hi, everybody. My name is Stine Sorensen. I'm the COO and the co-founder of Radiobotics. At Radiobotics, we build machine learning algorithms that can detect diseases in plain 2D X-rays. So today, more than 250 million images of bones and joints are being taken every year. This number is only growing day by day. However, the number of qualified clinicians is not growing nearly at the same rate. And this actually leads to fatal errors in the reading of the image, delays in the detection and the treatment, and also unnecessary stress for the patients and a much higher workload for the radiologists. And in fact, recent numbers from the US is actually showing that more than 49% of radiologists are reported to be burnt out. And then I can ask you if you would like to have your image read by an overworked staff with a very high error rate and inconsistent readings. And obviously, most people would not. And what you can say, it's time to introduce technology that can support this problem. And this is exactly what we're doing at Radiobotics. So we have developed an algorithm that can detect osteoarthritis in the knees. And this is the first product that we have CE marked. It's submitted for FDA, hope to have the clearance in September this year. And we're really looking into an area where there is obviously huge demand for people there. Right now in the UK, there's more than 4,000 vacant positions for radiologists, and this number is also only growing. In order for us to sort of succeed, we have focused on a very small area as of now, but this is to understand the workflow, get the products in there, get the installations, and I can tell it almost takes as long time to develop the algorithm as it does to do an integration in the terrible IT systems in the hospitals. So we have really been spending the time to prove all of these things. We can develop it, we can have it clinically validated, regulatory approved. We can also do the installation, so we're ready to scale, and that is exactly what we're raising money for. So if you look at the value drivers of what the technology is actually doing, is reducing the time they spend on doing the reporting, increasing the revenue for those that are actually having private clinics, especially in the US, because they don't need to spend time looking on the images. They can actually do operating in the theaters, and they can see patients rather than looking at the images. We can also see there's a huge need for the consistency in the reporting. So you always think of efficiency, it's a good thing, but consistency is equally a big thing, especially when it comes to radiology departments. And then we look into what is the effects of this is obviously that we can also reduce societal costs by up to 2%. It is important that we sort of emphasize on the focus that we have, because you've probably seen quite a few companies that is focusing on all modalities like CT and MRI, and on other pathologies like stroke detection and cancer detection. We focus on X-ray and within the musculoskeletal area, which is only bones and joints, which is high volume, but a lower risk. And that is very important for both strategic reasons, because we think that is where you implement technology the first, because you have the lowest risk and you have tasks that you actually already want to get rid of. And that's where we believe we can scale from by solving the tedious problems. We have been working quite extensively with large hospitals and institutions around the world. There's 4 areas where we can sell this. It's larger hospitals, it's teleradiology where you outsource the descriptions, it's PACS vendors, the IT systems where these images are sent through. It's also smaller clinics, and it's primary care. We have our beachhead markets, which is in the US at least, it's smaller private radiology clinics where they can't attract the talent and where they are paying money because it's above the reimbursement rate to actually have these images read, and it's orthopedic clinics where they need to make more money. Right now we have sort of a focus on pilot sites. We have 9 completed. We have 10 in the pipeline. We have partnerships with IT vendors and imaging sharing services as well. And we are looking into actually being able to cover more than 75% of the PACS providers market, meaning that we integrate with GE, with Nuance, with Fuji, with all of the big ones as well. And so there's obviously a huge market opportunity in this as well in order to do this. And here you go. My key was stuck. So obviously looking into what is the potential, we are looking into taking up the market within MSK AI. So that means within musculoskeletal diseases. And if we take up 10% of that market, we believe that we can have $5 million in annual recurring revenue by 2025. We have obviously also some that have been doing the same kind of thinking we have done. And I guess from 9 Capital, you also know of these because I can see you've invested in this space as well. But there is some in France, some in Austria. We also have some big ones in Israel and in the US as well. We have had quite some traction already. We've been nominated for different kinds of awards, have the MDR, the FDA is coming. We've been part of Texas Medical Center's Accelerator Program. This is my 3 other co-founders. They have expertise with clinical validation, building the product, FDA, and also myself. I have previously done a Silicon Valley exit, and I'm in charge of the investor relations, strategic business, and external affairs. This is the rest of my team. We are mostly focused on R&D and clinical validation because that is the most important thing. You see space for new people. That is the commercial part that we need to do. So in sum, I think we can build unique technology fast with great robustness that can be implemented right now. We are looking for $6 to $10 million, and I can tell much more about that. Time's up. I guess that was why you showed up, Lisa.
Thank you, Stine, for the presentation. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome now the questions from jury members, and I can see that Joseph has 1 or maybe 2.
Oh yeah, I'm being greedy. Sorry, I have 2. I love that animated skeletal hand. Thank you. Really nice presentation. So yeah, I just, I see a lot of radiology and AI stuff, and I find that actually the most inefficient part of radiology is actually the part that doesn't involve the actual reading of the image. So I'm just wondering, what is the average turnaround time of radiologists using your system versus not using a system? And how much of that is the actual read part of it versus the other bits of the workflow, like image translation and, adjustments, waiting for stuff to download, et cetera. And what is the basis of that 30% time savings estimate that was quoted in the slide? And then the second one is, I'm just curious, what's the incremental accuracy difference between, your system and just using no system? Thanks.
Yeah, good questions. And obviously it depends really on case by case and the products that we have. So we try to build a suite of products that can support in this area as well. So if we're looking into the product we have right now, which is the detecting osteoarthritis in the knees, it depends on, how good are you as a radiologist and how much time do you spend on, how much friction is there in the PAC system that you're using. But in general, it takes, yeah, exactly. In general, it takes 3 to 5 minutes to do this, and then we can save 1 to 2 minutes by the 30% of the time. And that is not much for one reading, but if you have to do 6 readings a day in these images, and you have maybe 10 to 20,000 images a year, then it obviously adds up. So it is also how we base our business model, is looking at the total sum of images related to our algorithms you have per year, and that's where we calculate the business case from. Yeah. Just to give you an example, is that when you can't attract the people to do this, you rely on outsourcing, and that's where it gets really expensive, and that's where we fit in. So we're working with the University Hospital in Texas. They pay $25 per read of the image, and the reimbursement rate is $10. So they are paying for this, and this is where we fit in, right? So one thing is the time, but the other thing is also that you can't find the people there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But is it truly 3 to 5 minutes, or is it, more like 20 or 30 minutes when you take in consideration the whole thing? Because if you've got, you know, let's say,
yeah, when you from the image acquired, when you go through the work list, when you
so
click,
then
and when you, yes, then it's much longer time. But we are sort of trying to be specific on where we fit in. And then it's also that for that reason we have products coming that is more of quality assurance related in terms of have the images been acquired the right way. We are triaging how, you know, this is more urgent than this one. You should look at those first. Those products are coming, and those are the ones we are launching next, because then that increases the efficiency first. But we also want to have the accuracy, and that responds to your next question was, how accurate is this actually? The question is, how accurate are humans? So there's 25% discrepancy among radiologists. We have studies showing, and this is what has been put into the MDR certification, also our FDA approval, is that we are 98.6% accuracy in the output of algorithms. So we're actually performing better than the best radiologists. But I mean, we can't necessarily claim those things because radiologists don't like to admit that they make mistakes. But it is really an interesting discussion to have, and how do you structure your studies and how do you actually show this? But in general, we perform much better, and the more senior you are, the more you agree with the output we have.
Yeah, no, that's good, because then you can articulate a health economic argument on
exactly. And that's actually
else.
something we've tried to put together with the NHS. There's an imaging consortium there called the MRAD, where we're actually trying to see if you get it right the first time, if you have the right description, all the clinical findings, what does that actually mean in terms of getting the patient the right place, avoiding expensive MRI scans and all of these things. And there we have some substantial calculations on the societal costs that we can reduce.
Okay, helpful. Thank you. I've monopolized time enough.
No, it's good questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have really time for a very short one, a last question. You are pretty clear, Stine, with the information, and you covered, I think, a lot from the additional questions with the other two that you received from Joseph.
Otherwise, they can shoot me an email, and then I'm happy to explain. I maybe have 1,000 slides explaining all of these things, so I can easily do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the presentation once again. I will just remind that we have the one-to-one opportunity as well, working. So now is the time to invite the third company, and this will be mimiX and Marc. Marc, whenever you're ready, please. We can see your screen, waiting it to come in full mode, full screen mode.
Sorry. So I'm ready. Good afternoon. My name is Marc Thurner. I'm the CEO of mimiX Biotherapeutics, early stage biomed startup company. We spin out of the EO Foundation, a Swiss healthcare institution, and we have invented a novel biofabrication technology, a technology platform that address the big challenges of clean food tech and health care. A biofabrication technique that builds on two very simple physical concepts. The first is the concept of mechanical vibration that we use to move particles. And we generate these mechanical vibrations with sound waves. And by controlling the sound profile, we can not just move them, we can create well-defined patterns. The second physical law is the law of static waves that allows us to make this particle patterning in liquids, gels, and hydrogels. And we converge these two physical concepts in one process unit that we named acoustic bioprinting. Acoustic bioprinting, a new biofabrication toolbox that enables the creation of artificial tissue and organs, three-dimensional cellular constructs in a layer-wise approach. We create a first layer made out of cells, spheroids, organoids, micrografts, any type of particle that we arrange in 2D, harden, and create the second layer and go 3D. We have a tech platform that masters pattern formation, and pattern is at the core of everything. Everything, even life, is the result of patterning. Morphogenesis is starting with a few cells that condense along a pattern. It's a kind of universal language. And we have engineered a technology platform to encode that universal language. A platform technology that addresses a large opportunity arena, including cellular agriculture, regenerative medicine, drug development, smart materials, and more. To date, we focus on cellular agriculture and regenerative medicine, a plus 200 billion market opportunity. Over the last 5 years, we have developed strong scientific evidence around our platform technology and have demonstrated that we have the potential to overcome one of the major limitations in regenerative medicine, which is the vascularization. No tissue regeneration without vascularization. And we have shown that we can create large-scale micro and macro vascular system. And this with significantly less cells. And the cell quantity is a big bottleneck today in conventional cell therapies. Instead of billions, we need 100 millions and even less. And we go 3D. Our technique is unique in the sense that it speaks the industrial and clinical language. It's so simple, scalable, ultra fast. On the left, you can see how we can trigger this pattern formation just by controlling amplitude and frequency. Once we have the layer, we go to the next one and so on. On the right, you see conventional state-of-the-art extrusion, additive manufacturing, and the big added value beside the scalability and the speed is that we do it in a fully physiological environment. We have no contact with the biological material, so no interaction with the cells. The applications we work on are in clean food tech and healthcare. We focus on artificial meat manufacturing. These are large-scale 3D cell constructs, large-scale multiple cubic centimeter that comprises muscle cells, fat cells, vascular, endothelial cells. And in healthcare, we have a first R&D program on wound healing, addressing the skin challenge. In order to exploit the game-changing opportunity of that platform technology, we have elaborated a two-stage strategic plan, with the first step to bring this platform technology into the R&D community by commercializing R&D platform to academia and R&D institution who will pilot and design enabling applications. Second stage is to develop application and products using the core technology that builds on our unique IP with third party in joint ventures and strategic cooperations. Today, it's all about step one, and we have elaborated a go-to-market plan that should enable plus 10 million in sales over the next 3 to 4 years, with the opportunity to exit the R&D business in order to focus on product development. The R&D business comprises a CapEx and an OpEx architecture, capital equipment as an instrument, and OpEx generating recurrent sales. So for each print, you need a labware and a biomaterial. As next stage, we need a 1.2 million investment that we stage in 2 phases. A first seed round of 600K to get the market clearance, so the global market clearance, and to develop the sales team. This is planned for November this year. And for June next year, we look for a second seed phase of 600K to extend the labware portfolio and to grow and accelerate our presence in North America and Asia Pacific. Earlier this year, we have announced the launch of our platform technology and opened pre-order campaign that generated 32 pre-orders and 3 orders. So this is for us a first sign of strong market validation. And we have also entered partnerships and accelerator programs in the field of medtech, biotech, life science, and drug development. If you're interested to learn more about our business opportunity, I would love to meet you tomorrow in the one-to-one meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Marc, for the presentation. I can see that Ferran has the question this time. Would you like to unmute yourself? Thank you.
Yes, Marc. Yeah, so I was wondering if there are any studies or you have made some regarding the possible side effects of sound wave on live cells.
Absolutely, and here comes one of the beauty of our IP. It's low frequency, so all our process works in the frame of 20 to 600 hertz. So we are far away from ultrasound, which I fully agree with you, has an impact on the cellular membrane, but the low frequency do not have.
Okay, good to know. And another side question, why is it important to arrange the cells in a certain way for artificial meat?
So what we have demonstrated is that when the cells are arranged versus if they are randomly distributed, it affects the quantity of cells that you need to trigger the next biological process. And cell quantity is a big issue. If you need 1 billion of cells, starting from a biopsy, for example, you must amplify for weeks and weeks to get that quantity. If you can reduce by a factor 100, it's a significant added value.
But does it really change the economics of artificial meat, or just
sorry,
if you need
artificial meat? Yeah, yes, it changes the economics in regard of the scalability of the manufacturing process, which is today still a big bottleneck in the big hurdle in clean meat manufacturing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ferran, for the questions. I give the floor to Petri.
How easy it is to start using acoustic printing? I feel the concept very, very intriguing, very interesting.
My daughter is 3 years old and she got the chance to play with my first minimal viable product a few months ago, and she was able to create 3D well-defined architecture just by tuning on one side a knob frequency and on the right amplitude.
Cool. Of course, she has a clever father.
Maybe. No, it's super simple and reproducible.
Thank you, Marc. I go over to Joseph.
Yeah, thank you. And sorry, this is a fairly naive question, but I understand that there is some sort of cellular quantity with relation to the distribution of the cells. How is it that you actually do need fewer? And by the way, love the use of videos in the presentation. Like, what is it? Is it like some sort of contact inhibition, or what exactly is the mechanism?
The mechanism for what?
For why you can get away with far fewer cells by putting them in specific positions through the acoustics versus having them randomly distributed as you would through conventional extruding printing technology.
Yeah, so it's just using the methodology of nature. So we use the powerful building capacity of nature that is to bring together to optimal cell condensation these individual cells. And if you have the optimum, then the functionality of the biological process will be triggered.
So it is contact inhibition then?
Yes. At the end of the day, it's more or less the same approach that what you do with organoid technology. So you bring the cells together, and at a certain density, they will start to do the biological job. Yeah. And we just tell them through energy holes where they should go. And once they feel these energy holes and we get the energy balance, then we are at the point where the biology can make the next step.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marc, for answering also the question from you, Joseph. And we have one from Lisa.
Hi, Marc. Excellent presentation. Can you tell us more about your aspirations in Asia and what that go-to-market looks like?
So, as said, first we want to develop a critical mass of user. So people who are using our R&D device to generate new IP on our IP. And this can be in a very broad field, agriculture, health tech, and whatever else we don't know today. And so this is our first mission, to build a critical mass of user as fast, and then to exploit the opportunities that our clients generate through strategic operations. So Asia has a very strong movement in clean meat and food tech in general. So that's for sure a significant market that we don't want to miss in Asia.
Okay, great. Do connect with me after this panel.
Thanks.
Thank you everyone for the questions. Thank you, Marc, for the answers and the presentation once again.
Thank you. Bye.
I would like to invite our fourth presenter, and this is Shani from a long way from Israel.
Right. Hello, everyone. Just give me a minute
Shani.
to set up my presentation.
Sure.
All right. Can you all see that and hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. The floor is yours.
Perfect. So hi, everybody, and thank you for having me today. My name is Shani Toledano. I'm the co-founder and CEO of HD BioImaging. The main worldwide health challenge today is cancer, with number of cases constantly rising from 14 to 18 in 4 years. And the sad fact is that 45% of cancer patients do not survive more than 5 years because their cancer was detected too late. This is a global challenge we all must face. Doctors do not have all the necessary tools and data they need to see cancer at the point of care and in the operating room, where it can make a difference between life and death. Because they are already there and they are looking at the tissue, but they can't see what they can't see. My father was 56 years old when diagnosed with late-stage cancer. 9 months later, he passed away. At that time, I was an engineer at the aerospace industries. I've started to read and learn about cancer, trying to understand why cancer is not detected early enough to save lives. I was also completing my degree in mechanical engineering, where I specialized in heat transfer and thermodynamics, and then my master in artificial intelligence. This led me to create a bridge between an unmet need I saw and my passion for technology, and then to start HD BioImaging. HD BioImaging is here to help doctors not miss cancer with a new imaging modality, the HDI, heat diffusion imaging, which is highly accurate, safe, and produces an immediate results on the spot. Our platform is the first imaging based on thermal diffusion. What we do is we are sending heat wave to the tissue. Cancer and normal tissue transfer heat differently. We can read that signal and translate it into an image on the spot, so treatment can begin. Let's just see an example. So this is one of our tested patients. Its tongue looks quite normal. We have heated up the tongue, measure the heat diffusion, and then here is our image that shows a confirmed cancer that we couldn't see by naked eye. The HDI system will be used at the point of care for early detection and biopsy navigation, cervical cancer, head and neck cancers, skin, colon, and others, and in the operating rooms for surgery navigation, cancer detection, and safe margin detection. We've completed 100 patients clinical trial and achieved extremely high accuracy in detecting oral cancer. While we are working on the clinical trials and the FDA and CE processes for the human application, we are about to go to the veterinary market this year and to start generating revenues in a non-FDA and out-of-pocket market. So just 1 minute on our go-to-market strategy. So this is the HD Vet, the veterinary product that is about to start sales this year. We are currently working on mass production and distribution agreements, plan to start sales and marketing end of this year. So when a dog or cat step into the vet clinic with the suspicious mass, lumps and bumps, and by the way, this is happening 10 times a week for a general veterinary. And then today they will do an invasive, expensive biopsy and will wait for the results to get back from the lab. With our product, the HD Vet, The vet will locate the probe on top of the suspicious mass, press only one button, and in 30 seconds will get a malignant or benign answer. This is a transaction-based business model. We charge $25 per test. One scanner for one clinic cost us $500 to produce. Will generate $13,000 with this SaaS model annually. Our team includes the best people in their field: oncologists, radiologists, AI and deep learning experts, medical device, signal analysis, and heat transfer experts, and one successful serial entrepreneur with 10 exits record. But over and above our business, science, and technical skills, we are driven by the ideology to reduce number of deaths caused by cancer. We've raised $4.5 million so far, and now raising $10 million a round. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Shani, for the presentation and for explaining all. I can see that the first question comes from Joseph, and he actually has two of those.
Sure, please.
Thank you. I had a lot of coffee today, so you're bearing the unfortunate consequences of that. So first question is, this is using near-infrared imaging. So I'm wondering, what's the limit of depth detection for tumors? Is it only like limited to superficial tumors? And then the second question is, just a science one. Like, do you know why the heat distribution within these tumors is different? And is this only the case in proliferative tumors, which suffer from excess cell growth, versus the more slow-growing tumors where you have insufficient cell death?
Yeah. Okay, so for your first question regarding the penetration. So currently, yes, we are working on the superficial cancers only. We are using LED light in order to heat up the tissue, but our patents covers everything inside. So if we will change the configuration of the heat source, we are able to get dip in the tissue. We can use, for example, ultrasound waves in order to heat up a liver from the outside, just an example. But currently it's a new imaging modality, and we are trying to be very, very safe with the regulation and stuff. So we are starting with the superficial cancers, for example, oral cancer, cervical cancer, skin, etc. And in the future, we will go ahead into surgery, liver, lungs, and others.
Yeah, makes sense. Second question?
Yeah, can you repeat the second question, please?
Yeah, just do you know why certain cancers?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main reason that affects heat diffusion is really 5 properties that are the physical properties of tissue. One of them is density. So if the tumor is and the tissue is dense, then the heat will transfer differently. The other thing is heat capacity and heat conductivity. It's K and CP in the literature. And then blood flow and metabolism. So those 5 properties will affect heat diffusion. And this is something that is really based on the way heat transferred into a material or a tissue. And just to add to that is that we've never, came up with the idea that cancer transfer heat different than normal tissue. I mean, this is something that everybody knows, and this is how they've developed the radiation, and some icing therapies and others. So what we do is we are taking this information into imaging for the first time. So the fact that cancer transfer heat differently and the thermal diffusion is different, everybody knows that for the last, 40 years maybe. But we just take this information into imaging and help doctors see cancer better.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Shani, for answering the questions. Is there another question from the audience who would like to ask next?
Shani, it's Lisa. I just would like to ask, what's your distribution model? Can you tell us more deeply about that?
Of course. So with the veterinary, the HD vets, and that will be quite similar for the human as well. The business model is really based on per transaction. So we plan to work with distributors, local distributors, to give them exclusivity in each territory, and they will sell our product, which is a very low cost, $500 capital equipment. And then they will sell tests, so $25 per each test, and we will share that with the distributor. So 30-70% in order to reach out to the right clinics, networks, hospitals, etc. So yeah.
Do you have a scaled model though for emerging markets?
So again, it's new modalities. So we cannot use, you know, ultrasound and other modalities and CTs in order to do our AI work and imaging. So it's our unique database, which is based on the Amazon cloud. So everyone wants to do our test. Let's say a gynecologist wants to test the cervix to find out if there is an abnormality there. So the gynecologist will use our device, the HT device, which sends a heat wave to the tissue, capturing the information, send them to the cloud, to the our database. Then we do the analysis algorithm and send back the results to the clinic directly. So we are not aiming to work with, you know, the imaging world, for example, CT scanners, MRIs, etc. So it's a new modality based on heat diffusion, and we need our devices in order to capture and to get the test. Was that clear?
Yeah, it didn't really answer my question. In obviously Southeast Asia, Latin America, price per test, $25 is a significant amount of money in some of these markets, especially with little or low government reimbursement. So really just understanding how you're adapting to those emerging markets where needs are great and your solution can have a significant impact.
Okay, yeah. So we've never looked into those markets yet. We're currently focusing on Europe and the States for now, and we know the prices there. So sorry for not answering your question, but of course, this is something that we will need to research and understand the prices as well.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you, ladies. There is one more question from Alexander, and we'll move forward.
Okay.
Raise the money, and how do you want to spend them? Thank you.
Shani, did you hear the question? The question is more or less how big is the investment that you are looking for right now, and how do you plan to spend it?
Sure. So we are raising $10 million, and we are currently negotiating the terms with the lead investor to take half of it, and then we will get some joiners to that round. So it's $10 million overall, and out of those $10 million, we plan to invest $6 million in the FDA process. And this process will take 2 years to get the first FDA approval for the human activity, and $4 million, the rest, in order to do distribution, sales, and marketing for the veterinary product, which does not require any FDA. So this is how we split the $10 million between human and veterinary.
Thank you. Alexander, does this question answer it, or does it answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. Just can I ask one more?
Sure.
Could it be broken on the parts? And as I understand, just FDA takes time, and could be one part of the investment, and another part just the entering the market.
Yeah. So $10 million to 6 to go to the human market and to get the FDA approval in 2 years' time, and $4 million to start distribution, sales, and marketing in the veterinary part.
I think the question is more, is it possible that you do not receive the 10 right now, but you receive a smaller amount and then later on later stage, then additional tranche? Or you plan to close it?
Yeah, so I believe the 10 will not come from one investor, of course. So we prefer a lead investor to take $5 million out of it, and then we can add maybe more 2 to 3 investors to cover the rest. So there is the opportunity to invest $1 million or more in this round, and we are willing to close $10 million at this point and not just part of it and wait for the next fundraising.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shani, for answering the questions. Thank you, jury members, for the questions as well. And we're moving to our last presenter of this afternoon, and this is Luis. I can see he's ready, already unmuting himself. So we can see your presentation. Whenever you want, the floor is yours.
Perfect. So you can see my presentation, right?
Yes, we can, and we can hear you as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm Luis from iLoF, and we're building a cloud-based intelligent platform to accelerate drug discovery. And why is that important? Well, for hundreds of years, new treatments have been developed based on the idea that the same medication will work equally for everyone. But for many diseases, this is really not the case. You can take Alzheimer's as an example. 14 years, more than 400 failed clinical trials, and no new treatment. Why? The truth is, like many, Alzheimer's is a very heterogeneous disease. While one treatment will not work for all, so you need a way to take the general population and stratify it into the subparts. The current stratification techniques that I used exactly to do that, they are very invasive, they are very difficult to access, and those major issues cause 90% of the patients to drop out of the clinical trials they are supposed to output the treatment for that drug. This makes trials incredibly expensive and inefficient, and solving this problem is really the heart and soul of what we're building at iLoF. What iLoF is building is a platform to enable the development of personalized treatments for complex heterogeneous diseases such as Alzheimer's. And using our revolutionary platform, you can certify patients for clinical trials based on their biological profiles, cutting up to 40% of the cost, 70% of the time, while making the whole process much more humane and convenient for patients. And to do this, we have developed an AI-driven platform that generates agnostic, robust optical fingerprints from convenient fluids like blood. And using these digital twins, what we're building is a cloud-based library of disease biomarkers and biological profiles. Our competitive advantages are clear. We're minimally invasive, adaptable, fast, and above all, very low cost, processing massive amounts of data at the cost of a data point below 3 pounds using only light and AI. This is what's under the hood of the platform. We are integrating large volumes of optical and patient data to create rapid phenotyping and prediction tools to both stratification, screening, and prediction of drug responses to treatments. And the way we do this is by creating a new paradigm of optomics, where we're able to integrate insights traditionally only able to be achieved from tools like metabolomics and proteomics, and really put them to use for clinicians and researchers all around the globe. For us, it all starts by solving the problem of the industry with a clear follow-on movie to the healthcare market to provide the right treatment to the right patient. These optical fingerprints that we are creating are in the end novel classification biomarkers, and here are 2 clear case studies of the platform. One, a commercial collaboration, ongoing collaboration with a biotech developing a novel treatment for Alzheimer's disease, who we are helping expanding their larger scope clinical trials, and for which one day will have the possibility of being a companion diagnostic. And the other is a commercial engagement with a large healthcare institution developing a prognosis tool, a clinical prognosis tool for COVID-19 infected patients. What about the market? Just on Alzheimer's alone, one of the markets where we're most active with, just the top 4 pharmaceutical groups, 2 of which we're currently engaged with, spend more than 400 million a year screening for Alzheimer's clinical trials. And we are in a unique position to take this market using our dynamic pricing model that ensures risk-free win-win for both iLoF and our clients. In the end, iLoF is a validated platform technology expanding a cloud-based library to accelerate the development of personalized treatments in new areas like oncology, infectious diseases, and others. And we are in a unique position to do this with our proprietary data library, multiple partnerships, and backing from leading investors like Microsoft Ventures and Mayfield. This is the team that's making happen every day, comprised of more than 15 scientists, entrepreneurs, and inventors based in Porto and in Oxford, and supported by an incredible panel of pharma and tech executives. And today, we're happy to announce our recently opened round with already a lead and 50% of it committed, currently looking to explore opportunities with another strategic investor. And today, we ask you to join us as we completely revolutionize the way we develop personalized treatments while hopefully contributing to a better world without Alzheimer's. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis, for the presentation. We can see that Joseph is the first one to have a question in the chat.
Of course, very happy to answer it, Joseph.
Cool, thank you. Oh, you can read, good.
So I can, thanks. So basically, this is a variation of time and frequency features in liquid dispersions combined with other sources of clinical data like electronic health records, comorbidities. So this is really a new way of developing rapid phenotyping tools by using insights that were normally only available using metabolomics and proteomics data, which, as you know, can cost you up to $1,000 per sample.
Yeah. So what's it actually? What's it actually look like when you are sending the? I guess you're sending a beam of light. Does it have a certain polarization, certain wavelengths, and how many data points are you generating off of a single sample?
Of course. So I mean, if I'm still allowed to share my screen, I have a slide that actually explains this very well.
Cool, the nerdy slide. Thank you.
Yeah. So we normally keep it for the questions because there's too many texts in it. So yeah, I mean, basically we collect features related to the size, reflective index, Brownian motions, the optical polarizability. We extract that signal, we collect a couple of proprietary features, and this is what we feed our artificial intelligence models.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Who would have the next question? We have a minute for the other one.
Lewis, I just saw ViewMind come up in the recent Frost & Sullivan reports, a digital biomaker company basically predicting those with Alzheimer's and dementia and rolling it back 20 years in advance with their technologies. How does that fit into your ecosystem, and where do you see that being potentially a collaboration or a challenge?
Thanks, Lisa. That's an excellent point. So I'd say that our biggest and fair advantage is the way we are able to collect and process massive amounts of data and train new models at the cost per data point, which is orders of magnitude lower than anyone else. Of course, there have been significant advances in detecting Alzheimer's early and certifying patients. I would say that where we bring a lot of value is that we can easily train personalized models to be used in clinical trials, integrating low-cost optical and patient data to create those models. So as you know, Alzheimer's is a very heterogeneous disease. One treatment will not work for all. So just detecting that someone has Alzheimer's, unfortunately, it's not going to help most of the treatments get to market. And this is really where we add value to pharmas and biotechs.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Luis, for answering also these questions. Final question maybe from the audience. You are very clear indeed, Luis. Wonderful. In case there are no questions, I will just encourage you to use the chat functionality and exchange some messages if you prefer in a private, or just to use also the one-to-one meetings through our platform. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm sharing again my screen and giving a big applause to all the presenters. Thank you so much for the presentations, all the 5 of you. And now is the big thank you to all the other participants in the session. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My colleague is going to share a link to a short satisfaction survey. We would like to improve, of course. So please let us know, give us your feedback. How did we do with the session? And of course, you can also schedule the one-to-one meetings, as we mentioned before. Thank you so much. Wish you a lovely afternoon and hope to see you soon on board. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.